Hi guys, welcome back to yet another video. Thank you so much for the endless support. We are just over 200 subscribers. I couldn't be more thankful and grateful for your support, guys. Please do continue liking, sharing, commenting and engaging with my content. It keeps me going. And for those that are new, welcome home. I hope you love it, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you stay. I got a whole lot of questions from you guys from my various social media accounts asking me about the trip, how it went, how much everything costs, from the flights, accommodation, activities, documentation, food, the works. If you are traveling to Thailand soon, this is the video for you. Please stay tuned. I will be unpacking everything, leaving no stone unturned, okay? Without wasting any time, let's go right into it. Disclaimers that I want to share with you guys before we go into the prizes is that this trip was for 3 people. So obviously the prizes might vary if you're traveling with more than 3 people or less than 3 people. It depends on the of people that you're traveling with. The activities and the accommodation is based on our personal preference. So it may vary when you book, depending on how you book and when you book in terms of season. So the first thing that you have to do is to book your flights. But before you book your flights, please make sure that by the time you depart, your passport is at least 6 months old, meaning it has been valid for at least 6 months. Guys, because they really are strict when it comes to documentation. So please make sure that your passport is at least 6 months old. And if you're South African, you don't need a visa to go to Thailand, just your passport, right? When you're coming from another country, please make sure that you do your research with this regard, because with other countries, you do require a visa to enter Thailand. The flights cost us 12,283 Rand per person. What is Cheap Flights? So Cheap Flights is like an online travel agency that helps you compare flight prices. The nice thing about Cheap Flights is that it has several filters that can narrow down your search to fit your preference. From departure times to cabin class to layover hours to stops and so forth. We booked 8 months before the trip. But remember guys, the earlier you book is the best deal you're gonna find. So initially we wanted to book a year before the trip. The flights then were 9.5, imagine, 9,500 Rand. And by the time we were ready to book, the flights were pushed up to just over 12,000. So my tip is please book as early as possible. How we booked, we discovered that on Cheap Flights at that time, Singapore Airlines was the cheapest. But remember, some people may, for instance, want to fly Emirates. Emirates might be expensive at that time, but because they really want Emirates, they'd go for Emirates. So for us, because we are budget travelers, we chose Singapore Airlines because it was the cheapest. So we clicked on the link and it directed us to the Singapore Airlines link. That's how we booked our flights. Now let's talk about where we stayed. So we were at Phuket for a total of 11 nights, guys. 11. We spent 9 nights in one hotel and 2 nights in another hotel. For the first hotel, we spent 22,780 for the stay. That's the total cost. Per person, it works out to 7,593. This is a bargain considering that the hotel is a 5-star hotel, guys. When I tell you the hotel is immaculate, it's beautiful, very clean. I would definitely give it a 10 out of 10. The breakfast was good. The people were so kind. Everything was just seamless. We enjoyed it. And because I can say Phuket is, it's huge, right? And people would normally make videos about where to stay and stuff like that. But to be honest, everything is just all over the place, right? So all the activities are far apart from each other. The Nature Hotel is located in Patong. Patong is probably the most famous place in Phuket. It's known for its nightlife, street food, and everything like that. For the Nature Hotel, we booked with bookings.com. Guys, please make sure that you're on the right websites whenever you book for the trip. Moving on to the second hotel. The second hotel was Panwa Beachfront Resort. That hotel is situated in Cape Panwa. Cape Panwa is, I can say, far away from everything. So if you want to really stay in this resort, it should be for you to unwind and just rest before you head back home. Because firstly, it has a beautiful pool, beautiful views. However, I wasn't so impressed with the rooms. They were very small for all of us, even though, like, compared to the first hotel, it was like a downgrade. And this hotel is TikTok famous. If you are a TikTok person, you would see that a lot of people that go to Thailand actually visit this hotel. So if you really want to go there, you should, for the experience. But I don't think we had a good one. We didn't have a good experience, my friends and I. It was a downgrade from the nature. But just for the purpose of aesthetics, for the purpose of the experience, purpose of saying I've been there, you can obviously just go. And for the pool, of course. And the floating breakfast was also great. Yeah, the total cost for this hotel was 4,623 Rand for 2 nights, which works down to 1,544 Rand per person for 2 nights, of which is not bad. I feel like it's not bad. So the total cost for the accommodation with breakfast every morning to 9,137 per person. Guys, it's a bargain. I feel like if you're going to be somewhere in 5-star hotels for 11 nights and you're paying 9,137, you can never find that in South Africa. Never ever. So please, guys, book those trips. Book those trips. I think at this point we've sort of killed the elephant in the room, right? Because honestly, accommodation and flights are possibly the most expensive in a trip. So once we have that figured out, let's go to the fun part, the activities. The first thing we're going to talk about is the beach clubs. I mean, you wouldn't be in an island if you don't go to a beach club. And it's YONA Beach Club is the first floating beach club in the world. You would have seen in my Thailand travel vlog. We went there with my friends. I highly, highly, highly recommend that you do YONA Beach Club, guys. It's an experience of a lifetime. So we booked directly on their website. It's yonabeach.com. And we booked 2 months before the trip. Guys, please book as early as possible for this one. I think it only allows you to book 2 months prior your trip. So please make sure as soon as those dates are available, book, because you will be disappointed if you don't book early. This is another expensive activity, but trust me, it's definitely worth it. So we booked the Sunset Terrace. That's a pool bed. So with YONA Beach Club, you get different types of beds. You get like a day pass whereby they just sort of like you pay the entrance fee to the boats, and then just bear in mind that whatever that you pay, right, you will use half of it towards food and drinks. So we chose the Sunset Terrace, which was a total of 8,040. Okay, ningababaz. Kuleyo 8,040 Rand, half of it we used towards food and drinks, meaning 4,020 Rand was allocated to food and drinks. This works out to 2,860 per person. Guys, this is from literally the afternoon until the club closes. The club closes around 8-9. So you are there for those whole hours, enjoying yourself, dancing to the music, meeting new people from different countries. It's a whole experience. It's fun. It's very fun. You wouldn't be disappointed at all. If you go on TikTok, go on YouTube, go on Instagram, and just see how people rave about this beach club. So that 8,000, definitely worth it, my dear. So because food and drinks are relatively expensive on the boat, we did top up a bit. I think we topped up 1,000 Rand, if I'm not mistaken. My prices won't be to the T when it comes to the additional things that we did. They're outside the websites and stuff like that. So we did top up 1,000 Rand. not per person, like as a collective. This brings it to around 333 per person. Also, cost for YONA Beach Club per person goes up to 3,013 rand per person. Of course, this may differ depending on when you book and what you have, what kind of drinks you have. If you don't drink, I don't think you'll have a problem because alcohol is relatively expensive on the boat. Another beach club that we went to is Cafe Del Mar. What a time. What a time. We had such an amazing experience there as well. Guys, beach clubs, you need to live in a beach club when you're abroad. You need to live in a beach club. We booked directly on their website. It's phuket.cafedelmar.com. So similarly to YONA Beach Club, we booked a poolside bed. And the minimum spend for this bed is 2,500 rand. You also need to book in advance because it also does attract a lot of tourists. So 2 months before you go to Thailand, you book YONA Beach Club, you book Cafe Del Mar. There's a lot of options in terms of beds, but we chose the poolside bed because it was just the three of us. Unfortunately, it rained and then we were moved to the restaurant. Please bear in mind that the minimum spend is 2,500 rand. And on that day, because again we had to top up with an extra amount, I think it went up to around, let me check, I think we ended up spending 3,500 rand, which is 1,167 per person. Another beach club that we were supposed to go but we ended up not going because we were extremely tired is Bay Clubhouse. So for this one, we made the deposit. Unfortunately, we forfeited it. It was 1,500 rand, meaning 500 rand per person for this clubhouse. It's so sad that we couldn't get to go. So my advice to you, please don't plan a lot that you end up having to forgo some activities. Just be mindful of exhaustion, be mindful of rest days. Just make sure that you have enough time to rest, to bring your body back in order for you to have fun. This brings us to the end of the beach club segment. We are now moving over to the other activities. Another activity that we did was quad biking, and for this one we booked on Get Your Guide. So Get Your Guide is sort of like an online platform that helps you find activities easier. It was 1,430 for the three of us, meaning 477 per person. This one is inclusive of your hotel pickup. So what you get from this package for 476 is a hotel pickup, quad biking experience, and hotel drop off. So they fetch you, you do the whole thing, and then they take you back to your hotel. That's very convenient, if I may say, for 477. Ooh, we are going to my favorite part. So we went to this beautiful cafe, very aesthetically pleasing. It's called Doo Bua Cafe. It's a very famous cafe, and it's famous because you get to take pictures and videos using a drone. Not your drone, their drone. For that activity, we paid 650 per person. For that, you get a drone video, you get pictures as well. Of course, while you're waiting, you can order food, you can order cake, you can order, I'm not sure if they sell food, delicious cakes, biscuits, and so forth. So while you wait, you can indulge in that while you wait for your turn to take the pictures and the videos. Another thing, guys, please arrive as early as possible because it does get crowded to a point that they sort of like cut the line and say, we're no longer taking people. So arrive there as early as possible, as early as maybe 8-9 o'clock in the morning, please. And guys, whenever you're on holiday, please make sure that you allocate just a relaxing day, pool day, just to sort of bring yourself back towards yourself. We had that with my friends, and the total that we spent for the day was 1,700. Bear in mind that this consists of lunch and supper. Those days, just be in your hotel room, by the pool, sipping your cocktails, and just resting. Per person, it was around 567. Okay, now I'm gonna go to the restaurants that we tried out and how much we spent. Okay, the first restaurant that we tried out was Three Monkeys restaurant. Oh, what a beautiful dining experience, one of the best in my life. It's so pretty, it's giving foresty vibes while giving that elegant look. The menu is quite vast as well. You get Thai cuisine, Western cuisine, Japanese cuisine as well. So it's a great restaurant to visit. And for that one, we spent around, I think, 3,000 Rand, which amounts to 1,000 Rand per person. Guys, for this one as well, please book as early as possible because it is a famous restaurant in Phuket. Book as early as possible and secure your spot. We booked the Dome. Guys, take me back. Take me back. The Dome is so intimate. It's so intimate. You feel like you are sitting in heaven. I've never been to heaven, but you feel like it's heaven-like. It's heaven-like. And whenever you're booking, please specify if you really want to be in the Dome. You can just check out the options on the websites. I will put down all the websites on the description box. But just make sure to specify that you're looking to be in the Dome. You'll only get the Dome when you book early. Another restaurant that we tried out is Manina Brunch and Bar. For this one, because we were not that hungry, it was around quarter to midday. We spent around 700 in totality. For this one, we ordered light foods, drinks here and there. It was quite affordable, very affordable compared to the other restaurants that we tried out. Per person, it boiled down to 234 rands. On a Sunday, we went to Old Phuket Town for the night market. It was a very great experience. The food was amazing, appetizing, and they have like different types of foods and different types of cuisines. For that, we spent a total of 900 Rand. In totality, per person, it was 300 Rand, and we ate a lot. A lot. It was so nice. It was so nice. Another exciting activity that we did was the Phi Phi Islands. So with the Phi Phi Islands, I received a lot of advice from my friends that went to Thailand previously and from social media. We did not pre-book this activity. We booked at Phuket. When we arrived there, there's a lot of stands. Like in your hotel, when you walk out of your room, when you walk out of your hotel rather, you will just see a lot of people promoting the Phi Phi Islands tour because obviously it is one of the most famous activities in Phuket. For the Phi Phi Islands, we spent 1,200 per person, which is 3,600 for all of us. And for that 1,200 per person, it's a hotel pickup, it's the tour, food, lunch, and as well your hotel drop off. So it's inclusive of all of those things that I mentioned. Highly recommend. However, it is very tedious. It is a full day from 7 until 5 in the late afternoon. So you should prepare yourself mentally and physically for the tour. So far, we've covered the flights, the accommodation, and the activities. Now let's go to the fun part. Clubbing. So with the clubs, we went to 2 clubs, Sugar Club and Illusion Club. Sugar Club is like a sort of like a hip-hop club, and then with Illusion, it's electro music. I think that is played in South Africa in a typical club in South Africa. So for clubbing, I think in total we spent around 3,000. The alcohol prices are very similar to South African, so average like 150 a cocktail, and there's ciders as well. I just forgot which ciders, but I think there's Smirnoff. Yes, there's Smirnoff. That's one that I remember. So in total we spent 3,000 Rand per person, 1,000 Rand. So if you're looking to go club, just want to go out and dance with other people, please do. It's not that bad in terms of costs, but obviously it will depend on the level of consumption that you take when it comes to alcohol and other factors in between. So now we're gonna go to the miscellaneous costs that were part of the trip, from your Uber costs to your SIM cards, layover, the works. So the first thing that you want when you visit another country is stable internet, meaning you'd have to get a local SIM card, and that's exactly what we did. Most people get it upon arrival, but we sort of like compared. We searched on TikTok and searched on other platforms just to differentiate and compare prices and see what works best for us. And we discovered that we would get SIM cards on a website called Klook. Klook is very similar to Get Your Guide. So we got 3 SIM cards in total, comprising of 50 gigabytes for 10 days. And the SIM cards were 129 rands per person, meaning 387 for the 3 of us. Because we intentionally booked a flight with a long layover at Singapore, we spent around 20 hours in Singapore during the trip. We spent a total of 2,000 rand at Singapore. Singapore is very expensive, guys. It's very expensive. I remember us buying coffee with 400 rand. We literally just bought coffee with 400 rand for 3 cups. 400 rand coffee. Hey, like I couldn't believe it. 400 rand for coffee. I was shook. It's Starbucks. But again, it's fine. We spent 2,000 rand in total, meaning it's 667 per person for the Singapore layover. We had 10 hours going and 10 hours coming back, meaning a total of 20 hours. And then from a transport perspective, there's 2 applications that you need to download: Bolt and Grab. Bolt, however, is relatively cheaper than Grab, so I highly advise you to download Bolt for Uber purposes, to move around Phuket. So in total, for the Ubers, for the Bolts rather, sorry, we spent around 3,500 rand on transport, moving around throughout the 11 days in Phuket. Be cognizant that this amount is for my trip. It could differ to yours because you'll be traveling to different places, living in a different hotel, or even doing different activities. So this is not a fixed amount. So we spent 3,500 rand, meaning per person it was 1,117 rand per person. That's for 11 days. However, disclaimer, again, we did use other modes of transport, or rather other types of transport, like your tak. Sometimes the transactions did not go off our bank accounts, so I don't have track of all the funds that we use towards transport, but the funds that I have on the apps is 3,500 rand. It could be more than that. Another cost is like the little things like takeouts that we would get, KFC, Burger King, and everything else. It amounted to around, from the top of my head, 2,000 rand per person. Okay, so there will be times where obviously you're not going to a restaurant, or maybe you feel like eating something in between during the day. That's also, you should be cognizant of those costs as well. So for us, it was 2,000 rand per person, meaning 6,000 as a group. Another cost is the floating breakfast. So with the floating breakfast, we had that at the Panwa Beachfront Resort. It's a separate expense. We paid a total of 250 for 2 trays. Bargain, meaning it's 84 rand per person for the floating breakfast. You have options to choose from. I think they have Thai cuisine. They also have the English breakfast. We opted for the English breakfast, and it was 84 rand per person. So we've come down to the most exciting part, the part that you've all been waiting for. It's the total amount spent on the trip. So the total amount for the trip is 36,790 rand per person. But bear in mind, this is besides the souvenirs and the shopping that you'll be doing in Thailand. So if you're looking to shop, you should buff up your budget a bit, possibly by maybe 2,000 rand, depending on what you intend to buy. We spent almost 40,000 rand experiencing one of the most beautiful beach clubs in the world, hotels, food and everything in between. It is so much worth it. Guys, thank you so much for watching this. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share and subscribe. And if you have any questions whatsoever, please drop them on the comment section. I will answer them the best way I know how and the best way I experienced Thailand. Thank you so much. I love you all. Mwah.